Do you like the Dreamcast? I love the Dreamcast and I want to complete every game on the console. Why? Well, because I need content between all my long retrospectives. And also, I thought, why not challenge myself? All the games are chosen completely at random, and this episode, game number 3, is Aqua GT. If you like the idea of this video, leave a like. That really shows me you want me to keep going on this mission. So, Aqua GT released first on the Dreamcast in December of the year 2000, and a month later, 2001 on the Sony PlayStation. I don't know how different they are, but we're taking a look at the Dreamcast version. It was developed by East Point Software, who I have no idea what else they did, but it was published by Take-Two Interactive, who I think most of us are probably aware of. Interestingly, both console versions were only released in Europe. I guess Americans don't like boats. You arrived on boats. Appreciate them. Did you miss out on something special? Well, not really, but I've got to get through this. There are 3 playable modes available: Championship, Arcade, and 2-player. To complete the game, well, Championship, that seems like the likely candidate, so let's pick that. We're starting out in the Bronze Cup. I picked my boat, and it seems we're starting on my home turf, the UK, London, which at most I've spent, half an hour of my life in London? I'm from the north. London doesn't do anything for me. But interestingly, before the main race, you're invited to do 1 qualifying lap. Considering this is the first time me playing, it was a bit of a disaster, but a decent way to try and learn the controls and the lay of the land. Or water. It feels alright. It's certainly more arcadey because it's way more responsive than it probably should be. I mean, it's hardly wave race here in the Thames. I did pretty bad in qualifying and I had the worst time, so I was starting the real race from the back of the pack. My boat's pretty good, it seems, because 30 seconds into the first lap, I'm already up to first place and it's all going a bit too well. However, I quickly realized I can't be so confident with certain corners because I end up going up the embankment and missing the next corner, and I'm back in dead last. By the time I get back to that mistake of a corner on the second lap, I'm catching back up to the first and do so just as I pass the miniature of Big Ben. But I can already see a bit of an issue. Any slight dodgy take of a corner and this dude's passing me, or at least getting close to doing so. On lap 3, that exact corner again, I don't think it was too bad, but the knob zoomed past me and even third place almost caught me. I ended up finishing second and awarded 8 points, which, I'll take. It's not the end of the world, especially with just 2 points difference. I'm sure I can make that up. Race 2 is in Holland. I guess the game was developed before everyone caught up and called it the Netherlands. Although I'm pretty sure we did know that, we just didn't want to confuse it with the nether regions. This track, the water is super high. Feels like you could fly off and land in someone's kitchen. There's some nice long straights, which I'm happy to see, but there's also some brutal cornering to ruin the mood. I thought I did alright in qualifying, but I was miles off it according to the game, like not even close. There is a running theme here because 30 seconds into the first lap and I am first. Qualifying, that's overrated. Despite me being beastly and instantly catching them all, the game decides that it's not gonna let you completely run away with it. For some reason, you can't pull away, and second place will always be on your arse throughout, just waiting for you to make a mistake. But it was in this race I realized the opponents will do anything within their power to not touch you. That includes a preference for crashing into a wall rather than crashing into you. So you can use the environment to your advantage. It doesn't ruin their race, but it gives you a bit of breathing room. Unfortunately, 1 dodgy turn and I'm down to third. I really need to work on my turning, but forcing them onto the banking helped out, and I managed to get my first victory in the land of the brothels. I'm now first overall by 5 whole points. I don't know how that happened, but I'm not complaining. The final race of the Bronze League is the UK again. Well, it's probably a different track layout, right? No, it's the exact same track, but now at low tide, which means one thing: it's a tiny bit narrower. Once again, there was no point qualifying and I easily get up to first. However, there's nothing quite like ballsing things up and making life difficult for myself, and I mean going from first to dead last on almost the final turn. This couldn't have gone any more wrong, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to start all over again, but someone was shining a miracle upon me because whatever happened to the pack just then, it meant I still came in first overall. What? By 1 point against 2 opponents. Oh, now I've qualified for the Silver League. Apparently there are 6 races in this one, double the length of the bronze, and the first race is Amsterdam again. Please tell me there are more than 2 tracks in this game. The tide is high this time and I'm holding on. Once again, no point qualifying. It's rigged, but it's fine. I'll just catch up in 30 seconds, right? Wrong. For some reason, it feels like I'm smuggling cement on this rig. I can't even get close to them. It's not like I'm driving bad. I didn't make any major mistakes, but they just got me on the straights. Despite being dead last, like 90% of the race, I did squeeze a 4th, which isn't the end of the world, but I'm not feeling this track at all, so yeah, I'll take it for the time being. Race 2 is Amsterdam again. What? The only difference is that it's low tide. There's no point qualifying, but I have to. Dead last, obviously. When I first started this race, I thought I noticed like a shortcut, or maybe I was praying so hard that I was hoping to will it into existence, but no, it's just a solid wall. There are no shortcuts in this game, and that messed up my race entirely. On the last lap, I could only get up to 6. I am a bit worried, to be honest, at this point. I'm getting beaten by a dude called Keith and a lady named Julie. This cannot stand. Race 3, are you surprised? We are back in the UK at low tide. I'm 100% convinced they only had the budget for 2 tracks in this game. This is going to be awful. Starting from the back of the grid, I felt a bit happier on this track. Despite a couple of annoying corners, I feel way more comfortable on my homeboy turf, and it shows because I got all the way up to 1st on the final lap, but that dodgy corner once again caught me out, and an unfortunate bump on the very last corner put me in 3rd, but it's better, I suppose. Race 4, oh my god, don't faint, we are in Germany. A new track. Unfortunately, it's my least favorite track in the entire game. I don't know if it's because the game's bad or because I'm bad, but whatever the reason is, I just don't like it. Maybe it's the fact that I'm really hungry and they don't have any amazing German sausages in there. Anyways, qualifying, didn't make a mistake, still last. And they pulled away from me like they're in a whole different league. On the second lap, I finally caught up with them with a sweet overtaking maneuver, pushing me up to 3rd. But I balls it up as well, of course I did, and I ended up coming dead last. I made way too many mistakes, and I got too comfortable playing London and Amsterdam over and over again. I was too in shock to be playing something unfamiliar. At least that's my excuse for choking. Race 5, we're back in Germany. Here we go. Looking forward to doing this 7 times in a row. But it's low tide now. High tide, low tide, Jordan's gonna balls it up good and end up in 6. We're into the final race and we're in unfamiliar territory. The UK, but at night time. As anyone will tell you, I can be up all night if needs be. It's at this point I realized you can skip the qualifying lap without being disqualified. And it was the 7th law of the universe that I'd be dead last anyway, so there's no point unless it was like a new track and I thought I should learn it, which, let's face it, ain't a common occurrence. I have to admit, you know, the game doesn't look so bad and the tracks look especially good in the evening. They nailed that aspect good. The burning orange of the setting sun, the office lights, the warm decorative lights on the tower bridge, good stuff. And now I'm back in my hood. I did rather well. I came in 2nd, but sadly 4th overall in the competition, which means I missed out on qualifying for the next league. I need a big improvement if I was going to win outright. I had to go back to the drawing board and pick a new boat. Now you'll see that the menu for this is totally messed up. I think that's just the emulation. There is probably some kind of indicator that I can't see, but instead of pressing sideways to select my boat, now if you press down, you get more powerful ones. Ones built with the Silver League in mind. Yes, I just competed in the Silver League with a Bronze League boat. It might be my fault I'm an idiot, I don't know. So, I have to try again, and this new snake-skinned boat is much faster. I can feel it already in qualifying. It turns like Johan Cruyff after he died, which is not great anymore, but it seems like I might be able to power through. It's promising. I mean, I qualified 5th. I broke the laws of the universe. The race itself, I was easily amongst the pack, running 1st for a lot of it, but I ballsed it up because of course I did. 4th, wasn't great, but I was feeling a lot more confident now. And I had every right to be because I got 1st on the 2nd Amsterdam race. Race 3, London, I grabbed 1st. Now I told you I don't like Germany already. I mean the track, I love Germans in real life, but damn if only they could make tracks as well as they make beer. I came in 3rd the first time and 1st in the second one. It all comes down to the final race, a nighttime showdown in London. All I had to do was be better than John, and thankfully I did. I won the bugger, meaning I finished first overall Gold League unlocked. Gold League has 9 races, and I'm feeling confident now that I know that there are boats specifically designed for this competition, so I chose a nice black one because I'm so damn cool. Unfortunately, looks can be deceiving. It's nighttime in Germany. My competition is Ron, Clive, Brian, Paul, and Will. I know someone with every one of those names, so it means so much more that I'm gonna crush them. So while this boat looks like something Batman would use, unfortunately I wasn't exactly happy with it in this race. The turning, it just wasn't working for me, and the speed didn't seem anything like too great. I couldn't even catch up and I came 4th. The next race is in a new location. Don't faint, guys. We are in Gay Paris. Can I say that on YouTube? It's high tide as you're zooming under low, wide bridges. It feels a little empty aside from when you get to these trees, which is the point I also decide to cut my losses. I didn't fancy going through 9 whole races with a boat I was constantly fighting against. So, a quick restart with a more sensible blue and red craft, pleasing everyone out there, and it does seem better. Now, I'm always crap in Germany, but I qualified first. What, did I activate cheat mode on this? Driving around in this, I was well happy. It felt so much better, and the only thing stopping me was my own idiocy, and I came 2nd, which was better than I deserved for the crap driving. France, I really like this track, especially those wooden areas where the opponents grind to a halt while I plow through it YOLO. After that, it gets super windy, and you need to be careful. This is where I threw the YOLO out of the window and I didn't power through, and I don't know what happened here. Keep an eye out for the position I'm in. Right on the line, I get put into 2nd place. What? From where? Like, who overtook me? There was no one there, right? I'm pretty sure this was a glitch, but I suppose I'll take it. 2nd isn't bad, even though I'm definitely salty. Alright, we got another new track. Where have they been hiding? We are in the City of Love. No, not Barnsley, that's the town of love. We're in the City of Love, Venice. And I thought this would be a disaster. I've been to Venice, and there is no space to fart, never mind have a powerboat race. But thankfully, whoever organized this event somehow threw out all the gondola grifters and also widened the entire city. Good on them. It would eventually turn out that this would become my favorite track in the game because it's guaranteed I dominate. Not that I played good, it's just the AI is playing it too safe for whatever reason, and it's proof their qualifying times are nonsense because they don't even come close in the race. There's this one bit where there's some terrifying looking barriers in the way, but I'm threading the eye of the needle every damn time and it feels good. It's also super short. I think it's the shortest track in the game, coming in at less than a minute per lap, which means I finished the game sooner. Race 4, we're back in Paris. I don't give much of a crap about the environment outside of, recycling and not littering, but why did we just go from Paris to Venice and then back to Paris? That's just like unnecessary CO2 emissions. This is irresponsible. But it's at nighttime, so that's cool. I'd have thought Paris would look pretty at night, but nah, it's actually quite boring. In this game, of course. I initially thought the Eiffel Tower wasn't even here, but it is. You get to see it for like 3 frames or something. But at least Notre Dame is here, and once again, I was robbed of first, but a bit more clearly this time. Thankfully, I'm still quite ahead. Race 5, oh boy, we are in another new location. I might faint, because we're in America, New York. Firstly, I don't think the developers have ever been to New York because it doesn't make sense geographically, but maybe that's because the polar ice caps have obviously melted since we are waist high to the Lady of Liberty herself. You spend half this race going through the sewers, which may show what the developers thought of the place. Yeah, it's more interesting wading through human feces than Central Park. I think I'm getting used to this craft since I'm always constantly out in front, and even though I haven't played this one before, and it can be a little bit tricky, I did come first. Race 6, Germany, first, a miracle. Race 7, UK. I'd have thought this would be easy. It was a guarantee I'd do well on this one, but it's been a while, and eventually I did come third. But race 8, Venice, easy victory. And the final race, another new track. What riches we have, Japan. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one aside from it's quite difficult. Also the plane. I think that's like the only moving thing in the environment in this game. I'm pretty sure Jeff spent a whole weekend programming that showstopper. Surprisingly, I got first on my first try, even though this track would come to haunt me later, and I came first overall, and apparently qualified for the newly formed Champions League. I didn't know I had UEFA membership, but that's cool. So yeah, this is the final one, 11 bloody races. It's a marathon. Don't worry, I'll go through this quickly. After sampling a few bigger boats, I settled on one because it looks like I was carrying missiles, baby. Starting in the Netherlands, I finished 4th, which I'll take. It's my second least favorite track and I never do well on it. 4th, not a big loss. Back in New York, after finishing a tight race, I got 1st. Venice, my favorite track. I was worried for a short minute because this is the first time I've played it in low tide and it's much scarier for some reason. It's like you're doing the bombing run on the Death Star. But the Force was with me because I'm awesome. France, first again. Back on my home turf, hoping to do better than I did last time, and oh man, once again, second for most of the race, but coming up on the final corner, I did the biggest cheese in my life, and it felt so friggin' wonderful. Sometimes you have to play dirty, and I'm feeling good. Germany, always a tough one, so many big corners. I had an absolute nightmare. I was last the entire race. I've been doing so well up to this point, but this is a big blow. But thankfully, Lisa ballsed up as well, so somehow I'm still on top of the points. We're past halfway mark and we're back in France for some reason, and this is quickly becoming a mild favourite of mine. I finished 1st, I didn't get robbed this time. In Japan, but only the 2nd time. Disaster though, I came last. I'm not even sure why, since I didn't drive too badly, I just couldn't catch up. I'm still 7 points ahead though. And the next, Tokyo again. Oh god. This time, I decided to try and qualify, even though it's rigged. Any positional help could really help me out on this one, and I got 1 place ahead next to Lisa, and man, I raced so much better, so much dirtier, and I came out on top. And Lisa, you suck. 2 more races to go, nighttime in NYC, low tide as well, it's interesting. I somehow qualified 1st this time around, but Lisa 2nd. This means that she will 100% win if I don't. So it's hugely important to get the victory or at least come close to it. And I did, I grabbed it. With the last race to go, I'm 20 points ahead. Victory is already assured, so I don't need to worry. Thank God. Tokyo at night looks alright actually. Perhaps the best looking track in the game. Better save it until the end then. I get 2nd and finish 1st overall. And as would only be fitting of the Champions League, the podium is much fancier. Although the same scruffs are still turning up. I am the champion of champions. I've done it. I've completed Aqua GT in 3 hours and 40 minutes. There are no end credits, but I don't need end credits where I'm going. If I was to score the gameplay in terms of fun, I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 10. It's not the worst, but it's hardly thrilling, and there's not much to make you keep coming back. This would be one to rent back in the day maybe. The presentation is probably about a 5, like the boats look nice and some of the levels are pretty good too, but overall it's quite basic looking, a bit bland, and the JP backgrounds do look super cheap. I don't know why they reuse so many of the same tracks over and over again so early on as well. That sucked the soul out of the game. But the music, I suppose, decent. It's very of the era, especially in the UK. In terms of difficulty, it was less difficult than expected after my first 20 minutes or so, but it does put up a bit of a challenge. There's little room for error. I'd maybe give it a 6 out of 10 for difficulty. Alright, I'm heading into the next game. And the next game, chosen completely at random, is Incoming! That's the name of the actual game. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, it always helps out. If you want to watch these early, you can support me on Patreon and get them early. Like, you can go watch that video right now, it's up there. Special thanks to my super producers, Alexander Cato, Brent McLean, FF14 Best RPG, JCross7776, Vay, Sven Naulertz, and Wixit. Thank you ever so much for your wonderful, wonderful support.